Hey guys, welcome to Jelly Arts. I'm Jelly and I'm back with another video. So today I am going to be showing you guys how to mix both 3D and 2D. Not in animation, but kind of repainting a 3D render in 2D. Mixing 3D and 2D is something that a lot of animators do. Not just repainting a 3D render, which is pretty common, but also kind of mixing 3D and 2D animation. What a lot of animators do is that they make an animation sequence in 3D and then frame by frame they add a 2D animation to the 3D animation already made. So that's one way to mix both. There are a lot of different ways to mix 3D and 2D. Another way is that you take a render of the 3D model that you've made and repaint it. Just add your own spin to it in 2D, which is also something that I've seen people do. Now there are a lot of different ways. One thing that I do recommend is that you create your own world and then you kind of experiment with it. They mix 3D and 2D a lot in animes, and I've seen a lot of animations mix both, which I feel like it's a pretty good resource because you can't animate everything in 2D in my opinion. So a lot of people, what they do is that they mix both. So I feel like, you know, having a little bit of knowledge of 3D is always good, so that it saves a lot of work. So the program that I'm gonna be showing you guys is Blender. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. Blender is a pretty good 3D program, most especially because one, it's free and you can pretty much do almost anything a 3D program can do. Like you can make things extremely realistic and you're able to make some pretty cool looking animations, but one problem is that it's extremely difficult to get. Any 3D program is really difficult to learn, so it took me a while. Okay, it took me a long time. It took me like it took me 4 months, okay, to learn it. Not properly. I haven't even learned it properly yet. I'm still like a beginner kinda, but it's pretty difficult to get it. Now this is a follow-up video to the repainting photos video that I recommend you guys check out, which is where I teach you guys the process and how I normally repaint a photo. In this video I'm just gonna do the exact same thing, but it's going to be repainting a 3D render rather than a photo. Okay, so in this video I'm gonna be teaching you guys, I'm not gonna be teaching you guys how to model, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna show you guys what I've already done in Blender. There are a lot of tutorials, okay, on YouTube that teach you guys how to model from a reference photo. I think in 3D you use reference photos a whole lot more than in 2D, because in 2D you can make up stuff, but when it comes to 3D things have to make sense, and I feel like you have to use a lot of reference photos. So yeah, I recommend taking like an already existing building if you want to make a building, and then just model your building off from that. And if you want to add your own spin to it, you obviously can, but it's always good to have like a base reference in 3D because it helps a lot. Okay, it saves you a crap ton of time. Okay, this is the photo that I used as reference for the supermarket that I'm gonna be showing you guys today. So what I did is I basically modeled a supermarket in Blender. Yeah, I'm not gonna show you guys how to model the supermarket. It took me a while, okay, I'm not gonna lie. This was kind of like a test run because when I was modeling this, yeah, I was kind of learning the program. This is like actually the first ever kind of scene, I guess you could call it, that I've ever done in 3D. This is kind of like a test run. I feel like if I make it now, I'll make it a whole lot better. This is not actually the first thing ever. Yeah, but it's one of the first things that I've ever modeled, and I used this kind of like to learn the program a little bit. I'm gonna show you a render of what I've done. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to move because it's super slow. Another thing with 3D is that it takes a lot of computer power. It's not gonna be the smoothest thing. I'm just gonna show you guys a little render of this, and then I'm gonna go back to the solid mode because it's taking a toll on my computer. I recommend, if you guys want to use 3D programs, I recommend you have like a supercomputer that is able to handle it. Mine can't. I mean, if I modeled like one thing maybe, but I modeled that entire street, so it's gonna take a little while. If I'm in the render mode, I can't move around because it takes a lot of power and it's gonna be really laggy. The idea in this video is that I'm gonna be repainting a rendered image of the 3D model that I've already made, because I know a lot of people might feel like repainting a photo is not the best thing because, you know, oh, it's not totally original. Another choice that you have is to repaint your own photos, but I know a lot of people don't have the resources to travel and stuff like that to get the picture that they want. So what a lot of us artists do is that we take pictures from other photographers, which I recommend that you do if it's not like a serious project. If it's an extremely serious project with a lot of budget and everything, I recommend that you travel yourself and take the photos yourself, so it's totally original to you. But if you don't have the chance to do that, I recommend reach out to photographers and, you know, give them credit, and also ask for permission to use the photos. I know a lot of us are not able to do that, but to avoid all of that conundrum is creating your own 3D world. So as you can see here, it's already rendered. This is just like a portion of it. I'm gonna go back to the solid mode. Now, one good thing about repainting your own 3D model is that you can pick it from pretty much any angle. If repainting photos is not the best thing for you, I recommend you just straight up, you know, model your entire world. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys a little bit what I've done. Okay, I've modeled an entire street, and yeah, I'm sorry you're not able to see the rendered version. It's, oh my god, it's taking a while, and to be honest, this is actually far from finished. I couldn't finish it, and to be honest with you, I'm tired. I just can't, and even my computer can't handle it. So this is actually all I've done, and it's actually enough to repaint a portion of it, because I think there's enough detail to do that. So pretty much the idea here is to take a portion of what is already created. Wait, hold on, I'm gonna go to the camera, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to frame this in a way that I'm able to repaint it. This is kind of another resource that animators use, is 3D. Now, one problem with it is that 3D is pretty complicated. I'm not gonna lie, and it's not the simplest thing to learn, and trust me, you just have to keep at it. You cannot give up, because I understand how frustrating it is to learn, because trust me, I've been there. There are a lot of complications with it. If you guys want me to make a tutorial on how to model something, let me know. Let's see if this thing loads. Another good thing about taking like a photo from the 3D model is that you're able to control the angle, and you also have control over the camera, the lenses, and everything, which is pretty much almost like just using a regular camera. If you understand about camera, let's see, I'm gonna click on the camera here, and here, right in the camera, you have actually a lot of options, like the focal length, depth of field. You have all the options that a regular camera would have, except it's pretty much just free. And you get pretty much the exact same result as a regular camera. Okay, so I'm gonna frame this in a way, hold on, the clip thingy, I need to fix clip start. I'm gonna, there it is. I feel like this angle is pretty wide, so I'm gonna increase it to 50 millimeters. Something like that I feel is a lot better for what I'm looking for. Something like this. All right, so let's see how it looks rendered. Now, yeah, I'm sorry you're not able to see a lot of rendered versions. I'm gonna put in right now a couple renders that I've done of the entire world. Now in Blender, there are two render engines. There is Eevee and there is Cycles. If you know about 3D, Eevee is more of a kind of like a real-time render, and then Cycles is more of a realistic render, which takes a lot more time. To be a little bit more simplistic and clear, Eevee is more like a video game render, which you can pretty much see the entire render in real time, and it doesn't lag or anything, unless there's a lot of things. But normally it goes smoothly, and the render is pretty smoothly. But the only problem with it is that it's not the most realistic render, because the lighting, the shading doesn't look very realistic. But Cycles, on the other hand, imitates reality. Everything is realistic, but the only problem with this Cycles render is that it takes a crap ton of time to render. Sometimes it takes a whole day to render. I'm not even kidding. It takes a lot of time to render, but the result is pretty good. If you want to make like a super amazing animation or anything, you have to have a pretty good computer, pretty good graphics card, RAM, all of it, to be able to make something really cool in 3D. But there are actually companies that only dedicate their time just to make renders, because they know that it's not the most convenient thing and it takes a lot of time to do. So what a lot of people do is that they create the world. Here it is, there's the render, and then they send it off to render companies, I guess you could call it, who they pretty much just render it for you, so you don't have to spend the time doing it, because they have a crap ton of computers and everything. Anyway, yeah, this is pretty much the idea that I had. I'm just gonna go a little bit to the left. The render engine that I'm using is actually Eevee. You know what, maybe I'll use Cycles, photos. It'll take a little time. I'm not gonna show you guys, but let's see. The first thing, the blur, as you can see, this fire hydrant here is not focused, so I'm gonna reduce the focal distance. I'm gonna get out of the camera and I'm going to go to the top view. Come on. We're gonna go to the top and we're gonna go to there, and we can actually move the focal distance way here instead of going to the focal distance right here. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can, I don't know, these are little tips that I'm giving you guys that I've learned over time. But yeah, I'm just gonna go back to the solid mode there. So more or less the focal distance will be right in, I want it to be like in the door. I'm gonna go to the camera looking at it from the bottom, which I feel is a pretty cool view, something like that. All right, so I'm gonna go to the render and then we'll see how it looks. Okay, so I'm gonna render this view, and then what I'm going to do is repaint this and add in a character, maybe. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, but I'm gonna be using pretty much the exact same process that I did with the repainting the photo. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description or in the card where you can go check out the video. I'm just gonna make this look like an anime scene. That's pretty much the idea. I'm actually gonna use the rather than Eevee, I'm probably gonna use the cycles. I'm gonna click on the cycles just so you guys see what I'm talking about, but cycles takes a lot of time to render. Oh my gosh, you'll see. A couple minutes won't be enough. They're only 32 for the viewport because yeah, it's not gonna handle more than that. But the render actually added 600, so it's gonna look a lot better in the render. It's gonna look a little bit grainy, but still. Anyway, I'll show you guys the difference between Eevee and cycles. But as I mentioned, cycles is a more realistic render. The lighting and the shading and everything just looks a lot more realistic than Eevee. And it's mostly used for animations and realistic animations. Not realistic, but kind of like 3D, like the ones in Disney or something, like things looking real, like in terms of backgrounds and stuff like that. They use cycles a lot. They mostly use Eevee for like video games and stuff like that. So, but anyways, it takes a lot of time to render, so I'm not gonna keep you guys here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna render it out. To render is actually F12, and then we just pretty much wait. And that's pretty much it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna wait for this to render. I might pick another view, I have no idea. Yeah, I showed the beginning process just so that you guys kind of see the process and how I normally pick the angle and stuff like that to be able to repaint the photo. Yeah, that's about it. And from now on, I'm not gonna narrate or anything. I'm just gonna make it like a speed painting, showing you guys the entire painting process of the entire thing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you all for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Remember to do what you love, never stop drawing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.